Okay, welcome back to Conversations with Neighbours. Today's conversation is with someone who rebuilt her entire life from rock bottom and then went on to transform an entire industry. Gina Livy is the founder and CEO of the Livy Method, a global weight loss movement that has helped over 150,000 people across 55 countries lose weight in a sustainable, science-backed, compassionate way. Her story isn't just about business success, it's about losing everything, starting again, and rebuilding through trust. After 30 plus years of helping people transform their bodies and their minds, Gina turned a personal mission into a thriving company. With a team of 45 employees, millions in revenue, 10 number one best-selling books, and over 5.5 million podcast downloads. She's been recognized twice as one of Canada's most powerful women. Her method has restored hope in weight loss for 96% of members. And her online community grew from a Facebook group of 482 people to a movement that reaches tens of thousands every session. But Gina's story goes beyond entrepreneurship. She's a mom of 4 with 2 dogs and a cat who loves traveling the world with her husband, Tony, drinking great wine, eating amazing food, and finding joy in the everyday moments outside of work. Her journey hasn't been perfect. It's been real, hard, and deeply human. That's exactly why people connect with her message. Today, we're talking trust, leadership, rebuilding, community, and rising boldly, even when you're not sure it will all be worth it. This is going to be a good one. Welcome to the show.
Thanks. I can definitely relate with the wine and the travel part. The business stuff, hearing it out loud seems really unreal. And also, I think we're almost at like 7 million podcast downloads now. So things move fast. Yes. That's crazy. Hi.
A lot of the time, too, when you're like in the business of it, you don't really reflect back. So when you hear someone like say it all at once, it can be overwhelmingly nice, though.
Yes, you can't see the forest from the trees has a lot more meaning to me now these days, for sure. If someone said to me, you're going to do all that, I would have been like, no, not only am I not, I don't want to. I don't want to do all that. That sounds hard. I'm exhausted just hearing it.
So you've said that you lost everything at one point, had to rebuild, but first lead up to that build up before even losing it all. Give me the quick origin story of that element and then into the rebuild part.
Okay, are we going to talk about how we're recording this podcast in the very studio of where I was? So this used to be my studio, and now it's your studio, which is really crazy. So my husband and I had a business in this current space where you now, run your business. And things were great. We had a thriving business. We were doing personal training, wellness. I was helping people lose weight just like I do now, but more one-on-one back then. And we had a local show. It started off with Aurora Cable originally, which was really great. And then Rogers bought out Aurora Cable. So then we had our show on Rogers. And we, at the time, were making pretty good money. I mean, not like swimming in dough, but enough that it was paying the bills finally. And we were in talks to do our show with both the Food Network. They wanted us to be our Food Network family, and also Oprah. And so we were rolling into December, and my husband at the time was not feeling well. And I was like, you're just probably stressed out. You're doing too much. We were working really hard. We had, 4 young kids. And I'm like, we need to take some time off. We've made enough money where we can just kind of decompress for December. It's not a busy month for us. And so we did. And in January, he had an opportunity to go on the Marilyn Dennis show. They actually came to interview him here at this studio. And he went on the Marilyn Dennis show, and it was like a week-long chef challenge because he was a personal trainer and he was also a chef. And that's what our local show was about. And he did really well. He made it to the very last day, but he called me every day and he's like, I don't feel well. There's something wrong. He's like, today I couldn't figure out how to turn on the stove. But because he was doing so well, he had to stay in the next day and the next day and the next day. And he came home at the end of the week and he walked in the door and I was like, okay, you are not well. You need to go to the hospital right now. And he checked into the hospital and he had blood pressure of 244 over 144. He was in complete organ failure, congestive heart failure. And we just thought it was stress and he wasn't taking care of himself. And he almost died. He almost died. And at the time we were living in Stouffville. So we were commuting every day to Aurora and we had 1 car between us. And when he got out of the hospital, he couldn't work. We were lucky he was alive. He could barely walk up steps. He had to have someone to take care of him. It was me. We had 4 small children, and I couldn't really work. He couldn't work. We got behind on our bills, on our rent. Thankfully, at the time, my landlord was very understanding of the rent situation. The landlord here at this space, not so understanding of the rent situation. So ended up getting our car repossessed. I had to shut down our business. I had to take a job waitressing at a restaurant. Like, no disrespect. I've been a waitress, but we're talking like I come home at 3:00 in the morning and then have to take care of my husband and my kids. He obviously, when you almost die, it changes who you are. And he had a really hard time, and it kind of really changed his personality. And so our marriage fell apart. So I found myself kind of no business, no marriage, trying to take care of 4 kids on my own because he just couldn't. And yeah, I felt like everything I'd worked so hard for all of a sudden just was gone.
Yeah, for sure. And, when you're building a business and you're pushing so hard, and then as well, you're adding all those elements, right? Your marriage and then kids in the mix of it too. And then something so drastic changes, and then it's just like all this pressure just kind of starts to implode on itself too. And then you find yourself in a completely different reality than what you were, even a couple of years ago, right?
Yes, I was going to be a Food Network star, my show on the Oprah Winfrey Network. And here I am, working the night shift at the sports bar, barely trying to make ends meet, And by the time that he did kind of come around, he, lost his deal with City Line and that show. And, we called up the TV people and they're like, oh my goodness, so much has changed. We have different people here and there, like, yeah, we'll get back to you. Yeah. And and then, clients who relied on us found other people and other places. And I worked really hard, and for what? Yeah.
So now you're sitting there being like, what is next? So is there a moment, or was it gradual, like a flip of the switch where you just completely started the new journey now to rebuild your life?
Yeah, I know the exact moment. So I was like, okay, I have to just try to make money and pay the bills and really get scrappy here. And I was like, it's also an opportunity though for me to figure out what I wanted to do. I had a history of working in television. I worked on breakfast television, hosted my own shows with City TV. And I was like, maybe I'll go back and host television. And then I was like, who am I kidding? I've got 4 kids that I'm raising on my own. Like, if one of them is sick, I can't be hosting a daily TV show. So I was like, what am I going to do? How am I going to make money? And I was also like, okay, what do I want to do? I get to start my whole life over again. And what do I want to do? So I spent some time just trying to think about it, journal about it. I watched The Secret, that movie like 15 million times. Of course. I read Gabby Bernstein's The Universe Has Your Back, just trying to stay positive. And my mom came to visit me one day. And my mom has this collection of photo albums. And we always talk about, what I want from, God forbid one day when she passes, what do I want? I don't want the house. I don't want her money. I just want that box of photo albums. All I want. And so she was cleaning out her basement. She brought them up. She said, here, take them now. And so I went through them. And as I'm flipping through one of them, this piece of paper falls out. And it was just a piece of paper advertising the GNFC, the Gina and Nicole Fitness Center. And this is something that when I was 10 years old with my best friend, who's now a doctor, by the way, we decided we were going to renovate my parents' basement, AKA throw some paint on the wall, extra paint they had sitting there. It was like an old school basement. It wasn't a nice basement. We're going to paint it and we're going to help people, I guess, be healthy. Like, where that idea came from, I have no idea. Anyway, I think I sold one membership to $1. I think her name was Jennifer Payne in my class. But I saw this flyer and I was like, oh, wow. Like, this thing that I've always been looking at as my side job. So I taught fitness classes through high school. I taught fitness classes through university. I was teaching, fitness in personal training as a business and while I was in TV. And I've always looked at it as my side job. Yep. Like a waitressing job. And I was like, whoa, this thing is like my side gig is what I'm really good at. So why don't I just do this? And so then I'm like, who's going to help me do this? Where can I go? And I went to Functions, Kelly Punzo, the Function Studio. And I said, hey, I need a place to work. And she was like, come work here. and I got to start back up again. And I ended up being really big business, and I kind of outgrew Function Studio. I still think they have the best classes around. I kind of outgrew that and went on my own. Got to be very busy. I got a part 2 to, do you want me to keep going?
Yeah.
Because I talk a lot. I got very busy helping people one-on-one, enough to pay the bills, to rent a new house, to get a car. I was without a car for a while and get back on my feet. And I was working really hard though, man. I really sacrificed my time with my kids. I got a lot of money.
Yeah, because you're exchanging time for money, like in that model, right? But
yeah,
you're building momentum, and things are starting to work. But you get to that cap point where you only have so many hours, and you can only charge so much per hour, right? Even if it's at a premium.
Yes,
but that is the kind of that point that you're at there, and you need to have more time for it.
Yeah, and kids get more expensive as they get older. Let me tell you. So, I felt like I was really proud of myself, and I had climbed my way back to being able to get by every day. And a friend of mine who I used to work with in television, back in the days of breakfast television, Ann Romer, and reached out to me and said, "Hey, I see what you're doing. Why don't you come and meet me and let's have a talk?" And he was now working with Moses Neimer at Zoomer Media. And so I went down to the TV studio and sat with them, and they said, "Hey, we love what you're doing. We want to put you on infomercials all across the world. We're going to blow this up. We're going to make you so much money." And I'm like, "Well, no, we're going to make a lot of money." And I was like, "Yeah, you're going to make a lot of money." And I was like, the 20-year-old me would have been like, "Oh, heck yeah. Like, let's go." But the 40-something-year-old me was like,
Yeah, you had the experience now to recognize, like, I know this deal.
I know this deal. Yeah, I know this deal. And I went home that night and I talked to my boyfriend, who's now my new husband. And I was like, God, I'm sure it's like anyone else would jump at this opportunity. But I really felt like I was offering something special in the diet space, like truly helping people. And I was like, I don't know about this. And so I woke up in the middle of the night and thought, I'm going to do a test group. And at the time I had a small Facebook support group that was supporting the TV show that I used to do. I think it had 43 followers or something. And I said, "Hey, who wants to join this group and do my program? I'm going to help you lose weight for free." And overnight I had something like 484 people sign up. And then for the next 3 months, I figured it out. And I just showed up every day on Facebook, talking and helping, not really having a clue, just sharing. And at the end of it, people were like, "Let's do this again." And I was like, "What? It's a lot of work. I don't think so." And, I was like, okay, well, I really enjoyed that. But what if I charged a nominal fee? So I was like, $20 a month for 3 months, $60, and sign up. And I think overnight I had like 1,900 people sign up. I have like 29,000 people in my current program. I help over 100,000 people a year, and it's all craziness, and I love it.
What year is that for the Facebook group part of it? Like waking up and being like, I have this Facebook group here with, 50 people on it first. Do you remember what year that is?
2018.
2018, yeah. And because, you had the history of television, right? As like that being the medium to reach audience. So you like have developed all those skills, but that was essentially the avenue for it, where now it's like, without even realizing it, which you then quickly realize, it's like, oh, the direct avenue is direct to consumer.
Yes.
Which is right now on this Facebook platform, right? Like this is the element. So now it's like this combination of like all these skills that have been developed over the years with the perfect platform to deliver it. And then it starts to click.
Yeah. I mean, I used to be a sportscaster. Like, I don't know who gave me that job. It was up in Barrie. And I replaced these two guys that had been the sportscaster there for like 27 years. And I was like young. I honestly don't why did they give me that job? For like the 6 o'clock news. For the 6 o'clock news, me. I mean, I played sports, but I wasn't like my dad to this day was like Yarmer Jaeger. He was so embarrassed. I just pronounced all these hockey guys' names wrong. And I hated it, but that's the job they gave me. So I'm going to do the best I possibly could. And I remember there was a time like, if I work in TV again, it's going to be talking about what I love. Like, and that's how our show with Aurora Cable started. We went there and I was like, hey, I have this idea. I want to do this lifestyle program. I can highlight. So we used to cook in the kitchen that you now probably cook food in now here at the studio. But we would also highlight local businesses. So we would go around and just highlight local stores. And like, I remember Nature's Emporium, for example, when it was in the corner and this small little, now look at it, it's just exploded. And so I was like, I would really love to do this. And Steve Mitchell, who recently passed away, which is really sad, I heard about, he gave me the opportunity. He's like, yeah, go for it. Okay. And so that was like that was the first time I had the opportunity to bringing what I love together, to talk fitness, wellness, changing your life, trying to reach goals, thinking big, opening up businesses. And I knew how hard it was to run a business, which I think is why I had the love of really highlighting other people in business. I got to meet some really great people who are still in business today. Yeah. Like 20 something years later, which is really cool.
Yeah. I love that. And so in that 2018, when kind of, I guess, momentum really starts to build, right? You kind of you do the perfect thing, let me do this for free first, the test. People love it. They want more of it. And then you can charge for it. Then it starts to expand out.
Yes.
And you're doing it on these kind of 3-month cycles. And I guess every iteration you're learning more and getting better at kind of like what the people need. And it's like you already know all the contents of it from all the experience. It's just like mastering the communication of it so people can actually absorb it, right, and listen to it.
Yes.
And so talk to me about from that 2018 era, like what was that kind of, when it starts to catch fire, I guess?
Oh my goodness. Great explanation, by the way. That's exactly, it was kind of like building the plane as you fly. And I'm like a fly by the seat of my pants girl. So I'm all about it. But
the perfect entrepreneur.
Yeah. Except when you hire people and that's not their mindset, that's a totally different thing. The business side of things really caught me off guard. It was originally me going on, answering all the questions. Then I hired one person to help me answer questions and another person to help me answer questions. And then by then, my now husband was like, okay, you need some help, honey. And, I was making great money, but it was also a lot of work. And he's like, you need someone to help manage the business side of things. I'm like a creative, I'm a visionary. I'm a workhorse, but I needed someone to actually
the operator,
do the business. And I actually had been in talks with someone to run the business side of my business. And then last minute took another job. And so my husband at the time was working at Amazon, had a great job, but it was also the pandemic. And he's like, listen, I think I'll quit my job to come work with you. And I'd already worked with my other husband for 20 years. No, thank you. So it was never on my radar, but something just clicked and it worked. So thank goodness I've had him to build up the business and, he's in charge of the business behind the business. But I also, as the CEO, have to deal with a lot of people in the business. And so as far as helping members, yes, I was really resistant to feedback. I hated it. Don't tell me what to do. I'm doing the best I possibly can. But I've learned that there's truth in the messaging. And I've learned so much from the members, and to this day, really being open that I'm not perfect. I don't know it all. And really taking member feedback on what they need, because my mission is to help people. And as long as I make that my mission, then the business part will fall in line. Things did go sideways, like big business. There's a lot of pressure there, dealing with people, listening to other people. Things can easily go sideways when you focus on that.
It's because as it gets bigger and bigger, right? Like the stakes are higher. So like little adjustments they have like a much deeper impact. And now your frame is like completely broken up, because before that point it was time for money, like stuck into that piece. But now it's like the time, and then it's exponentially, because it's, thousands of people at the same time, right?
Yes, it was exponential growth. It was really fast, really quick. My team did an incredible job at keeping up, but just personally what was going on in my mind was very difficult. So I have to help people actually lose weight and then keep it off in order to pay the people who work for me. So I have a little bit of pressure. But you know what helped me almost create my whole, not just my weight loss program, but my maintenance program. And the reason why keeping it off was so important is because living in a small town and helping people, I had to see them. I had to see these people who paid me good money. I had to see them at the grocery store. when I was out and about, the Santa Claus parade or, any local event, I actually had to keep running into these people, hoping to God that they had been able to keep their weight off. So living in a small town and helping people really helped me to figure out a way, not just to help people lose weight, but be able to maintain and sustain the weight.
Yeah. Like when the product is the community of people,
yes.
right? It's exactly what you said, like that high pressure of it. But when it is correct and truthful and actually works too, that's where you're going to get all those outsized returns, right? Because now you have the ultimate referral system of people that are in the community, right? Yeah. And as a community grows, they all bring in 3 people, and it's like just like the strength of the community of being at the core of the business of the product too. Scary, but when you get it right, which you have, big things can happen.
Yeah. I mean, I owe everything to my team. Yes. I couldn't be able to do anything without them, but more so the community. They're the ones who had faith in me. And I used to show up like it was chaos. I'd be wet hair, towel on my head, screaming at my kids, hungover a lot. Yeah. Just really raw and real. I've learned to kind of finesse a little bit. That's not, I was for a while trying to be everyone's cup of tea, and I'm trying to revert back to not trying to be that, because it loses its authenticity. Yeah. But my community has been very supportive of me. That's one of the things I'm most proud of, is the community. Yeah. I didn't create it. I facilitate it.
Yeah.
I facilitate it.
Yeah. No matter what, you showed up.
I did. Yes. Oh my goodness. Right. I showed up through trying to navigate single mom, finding new love in my life, my kids being sick. There was one time where my son was in the hospital for like a month, and I went live through my kid's dad passing away a few years ago, menopause, the stress of running a business, the pandemic. Yeah. Man, I kept showing up. I don't know why, but I feel like all you have to do to be successful is not give up. Yeah. And so that's my mantra. As long as you keep showing up, like you can't mess it up. And that's how so I think that's just kind of realizing that right now, like, cause I'm like, where does that come from? Yeah. I think you just one foot in front of the other. I think my past has taught me how to help other people keep going, Yeah.
Have you read the book, The Alchemist?
I have not. It has been mentioned that's a pretty old book. Right?
Yeah. Very old. It's really, I'm just thinking of like, you're reading The Secret and those ones, and then that note pops out, right? Of that kind of like sparks the ideas, kind of like universe telling you that this is the path. And really The Alchemist is like when you're on the path that you should be on, like the universe conspires to give you everything that you need, essentially. Yes. And it just kind of sounds like once you found that lane of like, no matter what, through all this chaos, you just got to stay on this path, and the universe will conspire to give you what you need.
What takes you off that path is listening to other people.
Yeah.
That's what takes you completely off the path. When you're just doing what makes you happy. And that's not, I say that because, doing what makes you happy can be hard for other people.
Yes.
That is when your life aligns. And I really struggle with that as business, is like trying to listen to other people and trying to take into them account and play on a team, but also know that if I deviate from my truth, that is when every single time, that's when things go sideways.
Yeah. It's like when you're talking about like that feedback part of it, when you said that, I'm like, it's so true. It's like, how can you make it be directional, but not like influence, you know?
Yes.
It's like, there's some like, maybe some truth behind these things, but it's like, you have to stick to your core because you're the one that's building it.
Well, I have like 1,000,000% faith in myself. And it's all about having the right team, and I have great people behind me, and I want everyone to feel like they have a seat at the table and be heard. But then ultimately, if I know this is like, I could just feel it in my soul, the right move. And then sometimes I feel like, nobody else sees that, but it's also not their job to see the big picture.
Yeah.
It's hard sometimes. That's the thing I probably struggle with most and most of the time I'm right. I do have to say, most of the time I am right. And there are some times obviously when I'm not, but I'd rather be right. I'd rather be wrong and do it my way and fail than all the times I'm going to not be right because I, just didn't listen to my heart and my soul. And I got a good, when I say that I read the book, The Universe Has Your Back by Gabby Bernstein. What was interesting is I read that book so many times, and then years later, I was actually on stage with her.
Oh my God.
Yeah, something conspired where I had bought tickets to an event. The event kind of fell apart. I had hired an event person way before I needed. And anyway, my event person hooked up with this person and was like, we'll save your event by telling Gina's community to come. But in exchange, Gina wants to be on stage with Gabby Bernstein. And so since, I'm not working with that event person, maybe, it cost me a bit of money, but it was just so cool how that came together
so
for
surreal,
me.
eh?
Yeah. Because it was like a big dream of mine I'd connect with her actually years later, previously, where my husband wanted me to go out for Valentine's Day somewhere, for my birthday somewhere. And I wanted to go see Gabby Bernstein. She was coming into town because her book was pretty, poignant in my life. But I was like, I just want to go to her. I want to go to her events. But I have this really nice guy that I'm dating who wants to do this really nice thing for me. And like, he's so great. So what's my problem? So I was like, let me just go with my husband. We went to the Four Seasons. And while I'm there, I'm still a little pissy pants that I couldn't be at the Gabby Bernstein thing. And at the end of it, because we went to a spa, I'm like drying my hair. Normally I would rush out. And I was like, Gina, I heard this voice say, just be here. Can you just be here? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Just be here. Be in the moment. Take your time. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to listen to this voice. And so I, come out and I go meet my husband. He's now my husband. He was my boyfriend at the time. We go and we get in the elevator at the Four Seasons because that's where the spa was. And we go down on the elevator and the doors open and Gabby Bernstein walks right by me. And I'm walking out of the elevator. I grab my boyfriend. I pull him back in. I'm like, oh my God, you're Gabby Bernstein and you have no idea what your book meant to me. And I'm like, I'm supposed to be at your place right now, but I'm here instead. And I was really upset. And I'm in the moment and here you are. And oh my goodness, this is the universe. It has my back. And I've never fangirled over anybody or anything the way I did. My poor boyfriend, husband now, was just like, what is happening? I literally took the elevator all the way up to like the 14th floor with her. She must have thought I was a crazy pants person. But my friend who I was supposed to go with told me that she didn't do any meet and greets. She didn't do any meet and greets for whatever reason. And so I found out later because she was pregnant at the time. But yeah, so I was like one of the only people to actually have an interaction with her. And so, the universe always does kind of have your back. It's conspiring. It's friendly.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a great story. You wouldn't have had any meet and greet if you didn't do those things. Or if you didn't listen to that voice in your head to say, take your time, be in the moment.
Yes. And then I fangirled. And then years after that, I ended up on stage with her. And I was like, I know you might not remember me, but I was that crazy stalker girl in the elevator. But yes.
And so obviously building a business is hard even when it's working, like there's a lot of things that go into it. And a lot of the time your blinders are up and you're just building and building and building. So like when you get recognized being one of Canada's most powerful women, not once, but twice, right? It's like, what does that recognition mean? Like, how did it feel? Just to have someone to recognize you,
I don't even know that I've taken time. There was actually a moment. Where the woman who runs the WXN Women's Top 100 Most Powerful Awards was on stage, and it was at the cocktail party the night before. And she says, like, come, everyone come here, come up to the stage and let's just take a minute. And this is my second time winning. So I'm like, yeah. Okay. I want it, whatever. I'm blowing it off. And she's like, let's just take a minute and reflect on what it took to be here. Like, stop thinking about what you got to do and all of that and just be in the moment. And when I actually took a moment, I got really teary-eyed. I think I just can't look back or I will cry. It's been very emotional trying to get to this point. The first time I still have, so I have to do these check-in videos in my group, and I had to tell people that I couldn't go live in my program that day because I was accepting this award. And, I can get on there and bang it out and talk for days, but I was like, tomorrow I'm not going to be here because I got this award. It's like, it's called like Canada's Top 100 Most Powerful Women. And so I'm not going to be here because I got that award. And then I listened to it after. I'm like, what is wrong with me? I can't even accept it because I don't identify. I know I've made, like, my business has made, I think, over $30 million at this point. Not that I have, like, I'm rolling in the dough, but it's been very successful. And I just think I can't take credit for it because if I did, I would crumble under the pressure. I think really that's what it's about.
Yeah, I think that's a kind of common theme with entrepreneurs or builders too. It's just like we're like in this state, we're always like in this forward, we live here, right? We never live in this present moment, which is like what you were thinking about at that time of like being in the present moment, and have a really difficult time reflecting on like this crazy ass journey that led to this point.
Yes.
But I think it's a blessing and a curse, right? Like it's one, I like the present moment one, I kind of relate with a lot because I'm always in future state and just always trying to ground myself in present moments. Like I just had my first kid a year ago. He just turned 1, right? And he's kind of really taught me of like, this is the moment right now. Like playing with blocks on the floor, right? Not thinking about, you know, this new product that we're creating and how am I going to sell it and what's the marketing plan and rollout going to be? And if we do this, this, and this, it's going to equal X amount of revenue. When it's just like, Myles, slow yourself down for a second and like play blocks with your 12-month-old baby.
Would we be entrepreneurs?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. That's what I mean. Like I think it's a benefit of it. Like I don't think that you could create what you created if that was your natural state, right?
Yeah. My mom once said to me, how can you live not knowing how much money you're going to make every week? And I said, how can you live knowing that's only the amount of money that you are going to make every week? So I realized at that point, okay, maybe my brain is a little different. I think I read somewhere, heard somewhere that this is a real thing where you just can't like celebrate or recognize where you're at. Like it is like, okay, like I've had 10 #1 best-selling books. Like, okay. And I'm not that I'm not grateful. I'm so grateful, but like I got 3 more I got to write. Right. And yeah, so I wonder if that quality is exactly what makes us entrepreneurs.
I think it is.
Yeah. The kid part is hard because there's a lot of guilt, but I think what I'm starting to realize is hopefully my grit, my resiliency will enable them to have grit and resiliency. And, you know, kids used to go off to work when they were 5, I think, you know, married off when they're 12, like they're fine. And I realized I was maybe trying to fix everything for them. It wasn't leaving them alone and working a lot. It was trying to fix everything for them and do everything for them, which is where I was amiss in my parenting. And if anything, I was overcompensating for my lack of attention. But I hope that they become independent kids that can take care of themselves. And, you know, I really enjoyed creating as much as it, you know, was a lot of work.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't do it differently. I wouldn't go back and spend more time with my kids. I probably would be, as you said, more present when I was actually with them, though, like you said. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, and it's just like what your current reality is at that time. Like if you think back, like obviously in hindsight, it's like you could think about this, but it's like everything is on fire. And if I don't do this, where everything goes to shit. And as well, in a vehicle of like, I don't know when I'm getting paid next week. Yeah, you got to move fast. You have to move fast. You have to move fast. Yeah, and you got to be scrappy, and you got to get it done. Yeah, it's tough. I think being an entrepreneur is just, I would never have owned the title entrepreneur. I've always done side gigs and, you know, run my own businesses, but I never looked at myself as an entrepreneur. And it was just sort of people putting that label on me. Yeah. Even just, I guess, as it got really big and people noticed my business, then it was like, oh, you're an entrepreneur. I'm like, am I? I'm just kind of just trying to get by in life here. Yeah. And the word like entrepreneur got cool. And so people could like be like, oh, this is entrepreneur. This is entrepreneur. Yeah. I'm a survivor. Yeah. I'm a survivor. That's what I am. I'm a survivor. I have a high pain tolerance. Yeah. I'm a survivor. I would say not an entrepreneur. I'm a problem solver. I'm a survivor and therefore a problem solver trying to figure out how to make things work, how to get paid, how to feed my kids, how to now feed the kids of the people who work for me, like all of that. Right. Yeah. So, yeah. So then business is building and you decide to go on to Dragon's Den. Yeah. So talk to me about how that came to be, why you did it, what the feeling was like, and then the impact of the show, I guess. Oh, well, this goes back to, years and years ago. And this is why I give back to so many other entrepreneurs and like to support small businesses and make time for people who want to reach out and pick my brain or whatever, because I had an opportunity to speak to Michelle Romanow. She took a phone call of mine. She's like, you got 15 minutes, go girl.
And I was like, okay, here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm thinking. Here's like whatever. And she's like, great. And she was like one of the first people who didn't say, oh, well, you can't do this and you can't do this and you can't do that. And oh my goodness, why would you do that? She was like, sounds great. What do you need? Do you need money? And I'm like, no, I don't need money. Because by then I was, I was running my groups and they were successful. I said, I need like advice. And she's like, you need someone to help you with the business side of things. And so she hooked me up with that one person and was like, check this guy out. And then he ended up taking another opportunity. Thank goodness, because now I get to work with my husband. And it's been amazing. But she really believed in me. And that was like it was go time then. It was like, okay, it's go time. Let's go. She doesn't think I'm crazy. Mm-hmm. And I even had friends that were like, what are you doing? And, my mom's my biggest supporter, but she's like, you're putting way too much energy into this. And so years later, I saw her at an event. And I ran up to her and I'm like, oh my goodness, hi, I'm Gina. And I had an opportunity and I talked to you 10 years ago, or, it was like 8 or 7 years ago. And you gave me 15 minutes of your time. And look what I've done now. Look what I've done now. And she's like, let's have lunch. Meet with me. We didn't ever have lunch, but she jumped on a phone call with me and I'm like, this is where I'm at now. And she's like, this is amazing. And what do you need? And I'm like, don't need anything. I just wanted to say thank you because you're whatever. And she's like, I'm working on the show Dragon's Den. You should apply. And so we applied and it was like, she's like, I don't even know if they're taking new people, but this would be great for you. You should apply. And I was like, okay. So we applied. And just at the time that we applied, they'd already had everybody. They didn't have room for anyone new, but someone bailed last minute. And they're like, listen, because we had to do the whole make a video and do the interviews. And they're like, we had someone last minute. You guys want the spot. You got to decide right now. So we had like 2 weeks to pull things together before the show aired. And so my team pulled everything together. We went on, you're actually in the den for like an hour. Like you see 7 minutes, 5 minutes if you're lucky. And my husband and I had always watched Dragon's Den and Shark Tank. And we're like, oh, he's got his MBA. He's a business guy. He had all the numbers. We're running an ethical business. We're doing good things. We knew we had like
great
a good
story.
Business. We went in with a really low valuation because we didn't want it to be about our high valuation the whole time. And we also was like, why are we doing this? Well, one, I'm not opposed to not investors. We don't need the money, but the expertise. I'm not really hanging with the who's who of the business world. And so I legitimately was like, be great to get business people on our side and then also showcase our great program. So we brought members with us. We actually made them part of our whole experience. So they got to come with us. And so they were in the den with us for an hour. And I made it about, forget about the deal. Let me make my members proud. Let me make our community proud. This is just as much their moment as it is ours. I wouldn't be here without them. And so we went in and Tony and I were prepared for like what deal and whatever. And we'd done practice runs and we didn't have to say a word because they all fought over us, save the got junk guy. Of course, we're not his cup of tea, but that's fine. And we just sort of watched them, one make a deal after the other, and after the other. And I'm a women entrepreneur, so I had to go with Michelle and Manjeet. We got an insane deal. Now, we haven't made a deal, full transparency, but I can call up Michelle anytime and she will give me advice. I've since connected with Wes Hall, who, if I didn't take their deal, I would have taken his deal. He's been an incredible mentor. He's invited us to his house for coffee. We've been to his office. I actually want to talk to him about something. And I just saw him actually not too long ago. That was sort of like something amazing that came out of that experience is to have, like, they really want to help people. It is a show. It is business, but they are also really great people who want to give back. So, and the producers were amazing. And so I cried a lot. They didn't air any of that. Thank goodness. It was so validating to me because I got to show my kids, look what your mom did. This is because of all the hard work. I got to show my mom, hey mom, see, I know you were worried about me. You weren't sure what I was doing with my life, but I'm good. I got to all the naysayers be like, F you.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks for coming out. But, I stayed true. And so it was a hugely validating experience for me.
I love that.
Yeah.
And again, like you said, on the pitch, you brought the members, right?
Yeah.
As again, you putting the community first as the product, the true product of it, right?
Yeah.
And just time and time again, how true it is and how it works.
Ethical entrepreneurship. I want my team to be really happy. Though, sometimes you have to have hard conversations and, but I try to, we do full benefits. We try to, make them feel like they're, part of the team and couldn't do it without them. And, I have kids. I want to sleep at night. I want to be a good role model for my kids. I can be scrappy, strong businesswoman. But also I actually care. And I just want to be a good person doing good things. And I'm not everyone's cup of tea. It can't be, I've learned, but ethical entrepreneurship, the thing about business is you have to do business in a business way. Mm-hmm. That's the thing that sucks about it. Because I was originally like, I'm just going to do this and that. I'm like, okay, honey, if you want your business to be successful, you cannot do that. So that's the thing that sucks about business is you have to be businessy. But yeah, I ethical entrepreneurship.
Awesome. Yeah. And, through all this, you're a mom of 4, you got a cat and a dog, like, in the chaos of it all, what makes you stay grounded?
Probably my kids. The socks on the ground, the, dog poop I have to pick up every day when I walk my dogs. Our house is chaos. We have a nice house. It's not a huge luxury house that I'm sure people think I live in, but it's not. And that's not what's important to me. I'm really into experiences. I have one of my kids struggle with mental health. She's been in rehab. So she's been really humbling for me. You try to be the best parent and, you can't control everything. Kids dealing with their dad passing away was probably the hardest thing that I've ever done. And so that was really a grounding experience. People pass and you're like, okay, I'm going to live my best life in memory. And then you get back to just being in the weeds again, So I think the universe has a really awesome way of humbling. I think it does it. I think whenever I get too big for myself, the universe has a way of being like, oh, hold on there, honey.
Yeah, it's good. Checks and balances.
Don't feel too secure. Don't get too hot on yourself, sweetheart, because, I think the universe always has my back. It's there for me, and it's also there to kind of keep me in check as well. And my kids are like, Mom, like, don't do that, or Mom, you can't do that, or they're pretty good too. And my husband is, he's really great. He's very practical and grounded, and absolutely completely opposite of me. So he's pretty good. It's a whole team keeps me humble.
Yes, and like you and Tony, you love to go traveling. Experience great wine, great food. Like, how do those moments recharge you, right? You kind of get a breakout, experience the world.
Yeah, I think you have to have life experiences for what I do. If I just sat in my basement, which is where I run my business, I wouldn't be able to really, I talk a lot about myself because I talk about my life experiences to connect with other people. Right? Maybe different circumstance, but same takeaway, same aha moments. We are absolutely travel broke. I did not travel up until really the first time I traveled was in my 40s, right after the end of my marriage. And I decided randomly to go on a surf trip to Costa Rica. I mean, wasn't even a good surfer. I'd never surfed in the ocean. I did some Great Lakes lessons. That was it. I went on this random trip and it was hardcore, and I'm pretty sure I almost died like 100 times. And it was life-changing for me. It wasn't lie on the beach, drink margaritas or whatever they drink in Caprahinas or whatever they drink in Costa Rica. I'm not sure what it is, but it was like, whoa, stepping outside of my comfort zone. And so that was life-changing for me. Just removing myself from my environment was life-changing. It gave me opportunity to breathe and think and have my mind expand. And so I love traveling because you see how other people live. You get to experience different things. I've been lucky to bring my kids on my travel, which when they live in a bubble and all they see is social media and they feel like they just, whether it's hard to meet friends or they're struggling in school, I want them to know there's a whole other huge, massive world out there for you. So even if you are feeling your lowest low, you can change your whole life. You can choose again. And so, so travel, I like to inspire people by travel. I share my very humble travel experiences. I think for the most part, people really enjoy that. And then other people are like, I don't want to pay you money just so you can travel all over the world. And I'm like, well, like, what? What are you talking about? You have a job. You probably want to travel. Like, I'm not like some spoiled princess. So it's hard because I am very inspired by watching other people travel and do exciting things. And I think sometimes it annoys people and then other people are inspired, but it's my passion. I love traveling. I love experiences.
Yeah. There's no better way to shift your perspective or open it up to grow it, to be much wider than to go to other places in the world.
I recently had the opportunity to take some of my team members away on a trip to St. Lucia, this place called the Body Holiday. And so it's like this beach in St. Lucia. It's like not too ritzy glitzy, but it's like just, beach. And all your treatments are included. Your massages you have to go to a massage or a facial or something every day. And they have all these activities where you can do like boating, Tai Chi, meditation, yoga, like 52 different things you can do a day. No phones. I mean, you can have it, but no one goes on it. No TVs in your room. And so the first couple of days, we're like, we're having fun or whatever. And by day 4, we're just silent. We're like, what's wrong? Are we sick? What's wrong with us? There's something wrong with us. And I'm like, I got nothing. And we were like, are we relaxed?
Yeah, you've eliminated all inputs.
We are relaxed. And I just realized for the first couple of days how hard it was to find peace in my mind. I was always thinking about, I got to do this, got to do this, got to do this, got to do that. And when you are able to remove yourself from that and quiet your mind, you realize, whoa, I am way more stressed than I even realized, to the point that when I am not stressed, I think there is something wrong with me. I'm very concerned. But it was like a collective thing where it wasn't just me questioning myself. It was a collective, like, by the end we were like, coffee, swim, drink. Like, yeah, it was like, I got to experience a switch in my brain. Like, yeah. Now you got to revisit that every once in a while. Got to revisit every now. And that's how I want to spend my money. I'm not a big shopper. I'm not a big spender. My husband likes to have his nice car. I like travel. That's where I want to, I'll be completely travel broke. I don't need a fancy house. I got an old couch with dog pee and barf and, teenage kids crap all over it. And I don't need a new couch. I need a trip somewhere. So there's a trade-off.
Love it.
There's a trade-off. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
No, is it done?
It's all done.
Oh, shoot. That was so fun.
We'll put up all your links in the show description, link to the website. Beautiful website, by the way.
Thanks.
Perfect
Constantly
website.
Working on that. Yeah.
It's like a thing that you forever iterate on.
It is.
But it is really, really dialed in.
Thank you.
And then it will have like the next cohort, which is it January? Or?
Yeah, we do 3 a year. So in January, February, in the winter, spring, and then the summer. But you can sign up anytime.
Yeah.
So even if you sign up in between like a live session, so we have these 91-day live sessions that literally take you through day by day. But you can sign up at any time, start with our Jumpstart Guide, have access to all this information. And you don't have to wait.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.